Welcome back to my channel, the best place for millennials who feel stuck in their careers to find their dream careers. In my last video, I explained why job hopping can be good for your career in your 20s. In this video, I'm going to give you 5 reasons why job hopping can be bad for your career, especially if you are in your 30s. So make sure to subscribe and click the notification bell to receive regular updates on all things related to finding your dream career. Also, join my Facebook group where you can chat with like-minded people who are interested in making their careers work for them and not the other way around. Hi, I'm Dr. John Tam. I have a PhD in sociology from the University of Oxford, and I'm passionate about helping millennials find their dream careers through gaining career clarity or building soft skills. So without further ado, here are 5 reasons why you should stop job hopping, especially if you are in your 30s. Number 1, loyalty. Potential employers may hesitate to hire you if you don't stick around long enough. And the cost for replacing an employee earning $30,000 to $50,000 is approximately 20% of their annual salary. It also shows that you lack passion for your work and you seem short-sighted. In fact, 41% of employers believe that job hopping is less acceptable when a worker reaches 30 to 35 years of age. So essentially, if you are in your 30s, it's about time to stop. The second reason why job hopping is bad for your 30s is that, well, job security. Job hoppers who don't have a lot of tenure in a company tend to be the first to go when it comes down to layoffs. By 2025, it is expected that 75% of the workforce are going to be made of millennials. And the perception of job hopping is going to improve a little bit because millennials are more entrepreneurial. They tend to move around a little bit more than everyone else. But at the same time, it's still gonna look bad. And the impression that, hey, you're a millennial, you're in your 30s, you're going to your 40s soon, right? The oldest millennial generation right now would be near the late 30s. And what that means is that if you still haven't figured out what career is really for you in your late 30s, then it still looks bad. And if there's any situation where there needs to be layoffs or people need to be let go, then it's job security and you'll be the first to go. The third major downside of job hopping in your 30s is limited growth. And what that means is you will miss seeing the long-term impact of your work and you won't have time to be promoted within. It typically takes 2 years for performance reviews of external hires to catch on with workers who are internally promoted. So one hiring manager that I talked with is, yeah, pretty much you need to consistently have performance reviews for 3 quarters in a row before you are considered an overperformer. And only then will you be considered for a promotion or for a raise. And if you don't overperform for 3 quarters in a row in that company, what that means is that, well, you're likely gonna have limited mobility. And to be very honest, usually when you enter a new job, it usually takes about 6 months to 1 year to really learn everything and another year to actually start contributing. If there's no clear path forward, you are probably hopping too much. And so you need to take that into account that you've entered a new company and it's great and you've learned a whole bunch of new stuff. But if you don't actually sit down and see the results and have the results measured, you actually don't really know if you're really that great or not. And that's a major reason why it's probably not a good idea to hop around so much when you're in your 30s. Because by then you don't really have the excuse that 20-year-olds have that, you know, I don't know what my zone of genius is. If you are in your 30s, you've probably hopped around enough so that you actually know what your zone of genius is or what approximate area it is in. And if you can't commit to a company and really see the long-term results, you actually start getting lost. Number 1, is it a company that's letting you go because you're underperforming? Or number 2, because you're actually not very good at it. And these are red flags that you need to start picking up on. It's like, hey, maybe it's time to upskill. Hey, maybe this is creeping up on me and I'm falling behind and I need to up my game. If you agree that job hopping can limit your growth, let me know in the comments below. Another major drawback of job hopping in your 30s is burning bridges. Job hopping actually compromises your potential for developing reliable contacts who can vouch for your talents. And whenever someone is in your network, backs you up and brings you into their own company, if you hop away, it looks terrible on them. So number 1, they may not be willing to take the risk on you because they're like, yeah, I met you at this company and we worked for a year or 2 and then you hopped on and now you're coming to me and you want to enter my company. But if I vouch for you and you continue hopping, I'm gonna look terrible. And the company needs to pay for replacing you and it may be coming at my expense. And so therefore, people will be very careful about bringing you in if you develop a reputation of hopping. Number one, it brings cloudiness on whether you're good or not. And number two, are they willing to back you up? Because the cost can be quite high for themselves. Another major problem with job hopping is reliability. Employers might assume that you lack commitment, especially if you're hopping laterally around many different sectors. When you hop, you really need to focus on jobs that make sense. The career needle needs to be moving forward. And essentially, if you're hopping in a meaningless way, where it's like you're jumping from one sector to another because of the pay, and sometimes, yes, I agree, your salary and your compensation is definitely super important, and sometimes there's politics involved, and sometimes there's people you can't stand in the workplace and so on. But if you hop around too much, what happens is that you may eventually lose purpose. You don't know where your career is going, and what happens is that employers will pick up on this as well, and it becomes really difficult to convince them that you're a good candidate for their company. So overdoing it is definitely a major factor. The bottom line is it ruins your resume. And in my next video, I'm going to talk about job hopping resumes and how to get over it. If you are in your 30s and you've job hopped for a while and you feel its detrimental effects starting to creep up on you and starting to bother you, I would suggest you check out the free training, which I'll put in the description below. It's called Stop Feeling Stuck, Find Your Dream Career. And what it talks about is basically how you can gain that career clarity to navigate your career so that you can find a career that you actually love and that will actually work for you. Also, join my Facebook group, which I'll put in the links below, where you connect with like-minded individuals who want their career to work for them and not the other way around. In my next video, I'm going to talk about how to overcome job hopping problems that pop up in your resume. So make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell for updates for when it comes out. Also, leave a comment below and let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to give it a like and share it with your network if you found this video to be valuable. Take care.